Hello YouTube, this is Froogle and welcome to another Froogle's Hangar. Now I'm in the Dash 8 here, the Q400, in Prepared, and I'm approaching Geneva. And the reason for this, none of this is new so far. In fact, most of what you're going to see is not new, but I have been practicing a lot of things for some more long-form videos that many of you are more used to on this channel. And part of that is I've been practicing landings and approaches with the Q400 here, which I'm not very good at. I'm really bad at them, so practicing. And using the amazing FSiPANEL from Jean-Pierre Garayot, which I reviewed on the channel quite some time ago. Now I mentioned in that review that Jean-Pierre is very good at supporting his own app and providing updates and enhancements and tweaks, and in doing these practice sessions found that he's added quite a few really good updates to FSiPANEL. One of them is absolutely invaluable. So let me just get this down onto runway 5 here. Notice how the weather is pretty atrocious. That's going to play into the next part of this video, as you'll see. But once I get this on the ground, I'll bring FSiPANEL into view and show you what he's done. It's really pretty cool. If you've never looked at it or used it, and you use one of the supported aircraft like the A2A GA aircraft or PNDG 737, 777, Q400 here, even iFly's 747 as well, and of course the Aerosoft Airbus. He's got quite a lot of supported aircraft now, hasn't he? But if you use any of those and you really want to get good at doing things, then I thoroughly recommend FSiPANEL for the training that it affords you. There we go, I think we're established here. Still on autopilot as we head into runway 5. And you can see I'm not running full screen. You can see my taskbar at the bottom there because I have FSiPANEL running on a second screen, and I will bring it into view in a minute. But as we approach 1000 here, I'm going to decouple the autopilot. Just trying to get my power levers set so we are on a fairly stable approach. Weather here is pretty atrocious, as you can see. It is windy, it is cold, it is misty, there is low visibility. Perfect conditions. Cat 2 fail because we're pretty low. We only have one autopilot on. We haven't tuned the course on the second nav radios, or indeed tuned the second nav radio, so that's quite normal. We are going to take control. We can see the runway at the 1000 call out. Speed's dropping, coming back on the power there. At the 1000 call out, now we'll disconnect autopilot and bring the Q400 in for a landing. It is a very tricky aircraft to land well. A lot of people can land it. I can land it, I just can't land it well, because you really need to fly this onto the runway. And what I mean by that is you're maintaining power, you're maintaining speed all the way down to contact with the ground. It's not your traditional gently float over the threshold of the runway and let it touch down. It is a very hands-on, very active form of landing, and very hard to keep on the glide slope here as well, as you can see. Come on now. See, I'm already above the glide slope. Probably overcompensating in my pitch now to get back on the glide slope, which is never a good idea. I'm going to put myself underneath it if I carry on. No, I'm still high.
Minimums.
I'm not going to go around. It is a training exercise. That's the whole point.
100.
All right, as we come on down, picked up a bit of speed there, but that's okay. The Q400 is not
50, 40, 30, 20.
Incredibly
10.
sensitive to touchdown speed. There we are. Off the power, reverses up, and off the center line. We'll look at the landing report in a second. There's 80 knots. Supply some braking now. Props are just about in the beta range. Alright, we'll bring it to a stop right on the runway. Parking brake on so I can take a look. Alright, it says reloading of approaches on. We're not going to do the reload, but I want to show you the landing report. You can see there, training required. I was 4.9 meters to the left of the center line. Other than that, landing distance was pretty good. Touchdown rate was nice. My bank angle was perfect, so I still have some work to do. But let me show you what Jean-Pierre has done. Check this out. So that's the normal way that we'd set up FSiPANEL, the airport, the runway, and the position. But now you can do a star. So I'm trying to land here in Geneva. I like Geneva. I'm not doing videos again on Geneva. I've done quite a few on live streams as well, but I just enjoy it. It's beautiful scenery and quite a challenge. Let me show you what we've got here. This is the Freiburg 1 Sierra Star into runway 5. So you proceed all the way down here at 228 degrees. At the Salev waypoint, which is 17.3 miles. Let me zoom in down here because I know some of you still get confused by these diagrams here. So there's the Salev waypoint right there. And you can see, want to be at or above 6,000 feet, it is 17.3 miles from CBY, Chambéry, which is here, 115.4. So we're actually following this radial all the way in. This is the Chambéry 228, or I think it is. Yeah, 228 radial. So we're going to follow that all in. At 17.3 miles, we want to make sure we're at 6,000 or above. Then at Pinot, 9.4 miles from Chambéry, we make a right-hand turn and start to intercept 45 degrees into Geneva. And once we're established there, then obviously we can switch on over to the ILS. Now the ILS, we'll bring this up here. Here's ILS to runway 5. 110.9 is actually 45 degrees, which is that 45 degree radial that we saw earlier on. Pretty simple stuff. Starting off at about, well, we're going to be at 6,000 feet and then descending all the way down. A nice, fairly gentle 3-degree glide slope all the way down. Should be relatively easy, but it's not. It does require some practice, and that's what we're going to do. So let me bring up the star once again. There it is. So Freiburg 1 Sierra, and we want to start at Salev. All right. Here's how we do it. This is so cool. I love that he's added this feature. So we'll click on star. And it's popped up a window over here out of sight, but let's choose it here. So we go down and choose Freiburg 1 Sierra. There it is. And we want to be at Salev. Restriction, we're going to be at 6,000 because there is restriction placing us at or above 6,000 feet. Perfect. Heading 228 degrees. So validate. We are now going to be positioned. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And then click on Move Aircraft. And I've actually got those charts you just saw printed out. I haven't practiced this yet. It could go horribly wrong. But let me just grab my papers here. And we'll click on Move Aircraft. Now, those of you who've used this or seen the video know that once we do this, there's a delay. It's going to reposition the aircraft. And then it's going to require me to do some stuff to set the aircraft up. Just wait for it to kick in now. There it goes.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust.
Alright. The annoying warning klaxon will go away in a second. I'm just going to clip this to my yoke. These charts here. Alright, and we'll click back in here. We'll get rid of the annoying red text. Okay, so I'm just going to check all my controls here. I want to be at probably 800 RPM on the condition levers. So I'm going to bring the condition levers back while we wait here. Flaps are going to be up at this point. And we'll see what we've got. Okay, so it was 210 to 225 on the power. So it's feeding quite a bit of power. Let's check my condition levers are around about the 800 mark. Whoa, I think I just cut the engines. Which is okay. If we screw up, we can just reset it with FSiPANEL. There we go. Make sure these flaps are up, which they are. And we want 210 to 225 on that speed. So we'll move the power levers up to get that. It's going to be pretty high, I think. Notice we're already at 227, 228 degrees. Now once the aircraft is set, it will slew us back. FSiPANEL will slew us back into position, which is the Salev waypoint. In fact, 5 miles before the Salev waypoint, I think. Here comes the speed now. We want 210 to 225. Okay, so it's already done it. It's slewed us back. It says we're good. So all we need to do at this point in time then is just make sure everything's set up. So looking at my star here, I want to be tuned into Chambéry on 115.4. So let's just go on down to the radios here. This one. So we're going to click on that and we're going to tune that to 115.4. So I think, yes. So there's the 0.4. We'll tune the outer knob here to 115. Great. We'll set that as active. And the standby one we're going to have over on, well, that's Geneva. So we want to be 45 degree radial to Geneva on 115.75. So we'll go ahead and dial that. We could actually tune the ILS at this point, but we won't. We'll do it by the book for now. 115.75. Now I'm not claiming that I'm going to fly this whole star perfectly. It's really just to show you what I've been doing here in the hangar. 115.75. So the active, we want 115.4. The standby is 115.75. Wonderful. I think we're good to go. I really do think we're good to go. So let's just check up here. We're going to check actually down here. So we're currently tracking VOR. We're not tracking the FMS. The color here is blue, not magenta. Magenta in a Q400 meaning we'd be tracking the FMS, which we don't want to do. So we're all good there. However, our course is wrong. Or is it? No, our course is actually good, 228. Let's just go ahead and check that though. So I'm just going to change my view a little here and make sure. No, the course is wrong. See, it's 045. So we will actually tune this around. It was the reciprocal. So 228 degrees. There. That's where we want to be. And then once we actually hit 9.4 miles from Chambéry, which is the Pinot waypoint, we are going to turn to a heading. Well, we want to be turning and intercepting the 045 radial to Geneva. So I'm going to set this around to 0 degrees, or just beyond 0. You can see the heading bottom left there. See it right there. So I'm going to turn this around to just after there. That's good. That'll be good. Doesn't really have to be precise, to be honest with you. We'll put it back there. That's fine. Okay, good. And the last thing I want to do is arm nav here. You can see we're in heading select altitude, not alt select. So we'll go alt select first of all. We're at 6,000. You can see the 6,000 there, so that's great. Heading select, we don't want that. We actually want nav. You can see that now turns to VOR. Our engines are good. Condition levers are set to 850. Our power levers are good. We are at 6,000. We're tracking on the right course. Let's just set the barometric, which we've done. In fact, FSiPANEL's already done that for us. So we can go back to the main view now. And let me just make sure autopilot is on, yaw damper is on. We're good. So I'm going to choose to unpause the sim, and the aircraft should quite happily fly on its own. We're just going to adjust those power levers and try to keep us under 225. And I'm probably going to feed in a little bit of rudder trim once we level out on course. Now you can already see here we're 21.1 miles out from Chambéry. 9.4 is where we turn. Speed is still moving up. There we go, and it's just lit up VOR, so it's actually getting us on course now. It's such an interesting landing at Geneva because you actually, you have to fly the star pretty precisely because you're in 3 countries. The star kind of weaves a line between France, Germany, and Swiss airspace, and you don't really want to start violating other countries' airspace once you're given clearance to approach Geneva. Alright, so I think we're on course. A little bit of rudder trim to the right. A little bit too much, I suspect. I still get asked questions quite a lot. Why does the Q400 seem to want to turn all the time? It's because of the torque effect from those 2 big props. You need to counter it with rudder trim. Alright, so we're still heading the right way, 228 degrees. It's looking good. And obviously doing this with the radios, which is the correct way of doing it, rather than just relying on GPS and FMS all the way. How far are we now? 16.1, so about 7 miles to go, and then we'll start our turn around. Scenery here is Orbex FTX Global, as you would expect. This FS Dream Team's Geneva is where we're actually going to be landing. Weather is provided today by Active Sky Next, and I can move around the cockpit and change my views, of course, with Easy Dock. That would be the 1.18 beta. Alright, so we're doing pretty well. We'll just pop this view down here once again. 13.5 miles. Speed is looking good. Altitude is holding nicely. No reason for alarm or concern. Everything's going really quite well at this point. So 12.5 nautical miles now from Chambéry. 9.4 is what we're looking for. That's when we'll start our turn. And it's so great now that we can practice stars, and you can practice some very complex stars and really customize everything. So the offset from the waypoint, we had a 5-mile offset at the start of this flight, but you can customize that and make it 10 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile, whatever you want. And fly complete stars as well, really long ones and really tricky ones. So those of you wanting to practice your lock DME approach to runway 8 at Innsbruck, now you can do so very, very easily with FSiPANEL, which is cool. Where are we? Oh, I think we went too far. No, 9.4 now, so we're going to heading hold now. If I can remember which button it is, that one. So it's turning around, so let's pop on down here, change our radio over. And then we'll whiz back up here and set in a course of 045 degrees. Which is there. And so with that course dialed in, once we get more perpendicular, I guess the word is, to our final course, then I'll arm nav and we should intercept. So heading select, alt hold is good. So let's start bringing down the speed now as well. We'll arm nav about now. See VOR is in white underneath heading select. I'm just going to change my charts here. Now we want to tune 110.9, which is the ILS. So once again down here, let's click down here, 110.9, 110.9. Obviously I'm not going to flick the active yet. Speed's coming down nicely. Try to get the speed down to around about 180, I think. We're going to do a flaps 15 landing today. Ah, I just noticed gear is already down, so I'm not sure why FSiPANEL did that, but our gear is down. It shouldn't have been. We're not going to mess with it now. We'll leave it down. VOR just lit up, so now it's trying to get us on course. And we are 17 miles out from Geneva, so plenty of time. No need to worry at this point. Everything's looking really nice and well ordered. You can see the radial sliding in now. Gentle turn to the right to intercept. Absolutely perfect. And because we got the right course set up to intercept this radial, it's the right course for landing as well. Oops, there's the weather changing. There goes visibility. Speed's dropping a little bit too much. So we'll bring the power back up. 15 miles out now. So let's drop on down here and we'll switch the radio over. 110.9 is now active. That would be the localizer, and we are above it. So let's see if we can go ahead and arm approach here. We might be completely out of sorts to do that. We'll drop the power now. Go first stage of flaps. A little bit too high, so I screwed up. But that's again the beauty of something like FSiPANEL and training and practice. Look at that mountain peeking through the clouds off to the left there. How spectacular is that? We do have a good rate of descent. We should pick up the glide slope. We do have 11.5 miles to go, so
2,500.
no reason to worry just yet. We do have ice detected as well, obviously. See if we can put on the ice protection. Shouldn't be picking up a great deal. There we go, onto the glide slope now. So our rate of descent will ease up now, our speed will drop quite dramatically. We will go to the next stage of flaps. And start getting our speed down. Wonderful. We're a little bit off the localizer, but again, at 9.5 miles to go, we got plenty of time to get more established. Okay. Next stage of flaps, I think, is going to be flaps 15. Nope, so we can go one more stage there. Let's move the condition levers now up to 900, ready for landing. Watching my speed. Okay, aircraft settling nicely, so flaps 15 now at 9 or 8 miles, I should say, to go. So landing flaps are set. We just need to establish the speed, get the aircraft established on this approach nicely, just like we just did on the straight in practice. watching the speed, trying to get to a position again with the throttles, just like on that previous landing, where I'm not having to adjust the throttles. The aircraft is nicely established on the final approach. And I think I've got it. I could afford to go a little bit less on the power. I think we're good. Not going to disengage the autopilot for obvious reasons. There's no visibility at this point. We are moving around quite a bit in the wind as well. Speed's coming down nicely towards VREF. We'll be a little bit above it because of the icing. Waiting for the 2500 call out and then the 1000 call out, which I'll disengage the autopilot. I can get rid of my chart now. And the cool thing here as well, I'm not going to do it now if I screw up, but you can also practice things like go-arounds. I am a huge violator of that particular rule, not going around, because it's only a video game, or it's only on computer, but we really should get in the habit of doing go-arounds, and I'll probably do some videos on that as well, in the various different aircraft to show the different procedures for how to execute a go-around or a missed approach properly. Let's just check everything. Flaps 15 is set, gear is down, flaps are set, speed is good, landing lights are all on, or they should be. They are. Still no visibility on the runway. Cat 2 fail, as we would expect at this point. We are on the glide slope. We are on the localizer now. We're fully established. I could possibly trim the rudder a touch, which I just did. Terrain display just came up, 1,000 feet. I'm not disengaging the autopilot. There's the runway. I can see the lights. Oh, speed's too low. We'll disengage now. So just try to hold this profile using the speed to adjust rate of descent. Or power, I should say. Whoa, a little bit too much though. Speed dropped dangerously low there. And now I'm off course. Too high. Oh, I'm getting blown around. Just trimming it down a little bit there.
500.
Speed is coming back up. Good. On the glide slope now. We'll trim it, nose up. Bit more power there as the speed starts to drop dangerous again. A little bit way too high now. This would be a good point to do the go around, which I'm not going to do. Oh my goodness. I really should, shouldn't I?
100.
Alright, internet haters, there's your chance to tell me I'm doing everything wrong. I will go around. I will go around. So, full power. Bring the flaps up. Gear up. And we will go around. But how cool is that? FSiPANEL now allowing you to practice full stars.
1,000.
Not just straight in approaches. That's a wonderful thing. Anyway, hope this was interesting to some of you. Until next time, as always, my name is Froogle. I'll see you soon.